The new year is upon us. 2017 has come to a close, and what I wanted to do in this video was share with you 4 lessons that I learned last year about women and about myself that ultimately made me a much better man. And I want you to learn from my mistakes and take these lessons to enrich and make your life easier and more quality going forward this year in 2018. So let's jump right into it. The first and probably the most powerful lesson that I learned last year was to lower my expectations. I read a fantastic book last year called How to Be an Imperfectionist. And in it, it said that if you have high expectations and you want to be perfect at everything, and 10 out of 10 is the only thing that you'll be satisfied with, then you're going to let yourself down way more times than not. But if you were to lower your expectations and say, you know, I'm not entitled to anything. I don't expect anything from anyone, and we'll just see how things go. You're going to be pleasantly surprised way more often and feel much better for it. So what I learned was that, you know, even with women and results with women or results with a lot of things, I learned to just say, okay, let's be a realist and not pessimistic, right? Don't be pessimistic. You don't want to be super optimistic, because that could be draining as well too. But you want to be a realist with some hope, okay? A hopeful realist. And from that position, you could say, okay, let's see how things work out. And you could be pleasantly surprised and very grateful for what you get, rather than expecting and having some type of entitlement and then often letting yourself down. Even when I go out and meet women nowadays, I don't, when I first started, I would expect a great reaction. And it's okay to have some confidence and think that you're good and have a little bit of expectation that things are going to go well. There's nothing really wrong with that, but I'm more prepared where if I have a rejection or I have some disapproval, I'm okay with it and just say, you know, let's see how things go. And if it goes really well, then that's great. I'm really proud of that. But if it doesn't go well, I don't say, man, I should get every girl I talk to and I should really do this right. Or man, I messed this up. And I stopped beating myself up so much last year. That was a big issue for me. And a big issue that a lot of guys that I work with have is that they have these high standards, and if they don't live up to them, they start to beat themselves up and be way too hard on themselves. The fact that you're watching this video makes yourself somebody who's already into self-development and self-improvement, and you're here to do something about it. Beating yourself up more and having really high expectations and putting too much pressure on yourself isn't what you need. There's some people who are sitting on the couch and maybe need to see this video, and they need a kick in the ass. But you kicking yourself in the ass when you're already working on it isn't going to help you out anymore. A second lesson I learned several times in 2017 was to not build an alternate reality in your mind with women, okay? Nowadays, there's a lot of texting that goes on, whether you meet a girl on social media or a dating app, or even if you meet them in person, okay? There could be some time until when you see them in person again, or even for the first time. And what happens is a lot of texting goes on and a lot of thinking goes on between this stuff. And you start to build an alternate reality. You start to think, okay, maybe I'll bring her to meet some of my friends. You know, maybe she really has all those qualities that I really want. You start to project these things onto women and build an alternate reality where there's you and her talking, and then there's this fantasy that you've built of this perfect ideal girl, and start to really think about things you want to do with her and future projections and all this stuff. And hey, look, that's a fun thing about this, right? Is thinking about what you want to do in the future with women. I don't want to totally kill that, but I really don't want you to necessarily get your hopes up so high and put all of your eggs in a basket that you haven't even took for a test drive yet, that you haven't even hung out with, okay? Sometimes I've had times where last year, you know, I built a girl up to be so great and so awesome. Then I hung out with her and I was like, wait, she kind of isn't like that alternate reality that I built. And the thing is, when you build the alternate reality too high, the girls can feel the pressure that you've put on, okay? And you have too high of an expectation. And also, it just changes the way that you feel. And if you put too much emotion and energy into the basket, and let's say a girl disappears or ghosts on you or flips like a pancake, which happened to me a few times last year. Some girls can be all about it, gung-ho, and then flip like a pancake. And this happened to a lot of friends of mine as well last year. And if you're too emotionally invested and infatuated with that alternate reality, you're just going to be disappointed. So be realistic, okay? Kind of back to what I said before. Be realistic. Have some time with her in person. find out about her and really feel what the experience is like and base the way you're going to treat her off of how things go in person versus building up that false and oftentimes perfect and over the top alternate reality. The third lesson that I learned last year several times as well was that open and honest communication is an absolute must, okay? Naturally, I'm a very nice guy, okay? I have a little bit of a people-pleasing issue I found out when I read a book recently is I want everybody to be happy. I want people to get a lot out of it. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll put other people's needs before mine, okay? And I want to make them happy so much that I won't necessarily take care of what's going on with myself, right? And what happens is you build up a resentment and you wind up feeling bad and feeling worse about yourself and feeling worse about the other person in the situation. So if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, if you feel like someone is overstepping your boundaries, or if you want to just see what's going on in someone's head, just ask them. Just get to the point, okay? Even if you're out with the girl, okay, and you don't kind of know how she's feeling, she's giving you mixed signals, then why not, right? Why not just say, I'm having a good time with you, but I gotta be honest, I feel like you're giving me sort of mixed signals. I can't really get a read on where you're at. And just saying that, right? And just being honest with how you feel. And the woman will now start to say, oh, I actually really feel this way or this and that. And it takes the guesswork out of what you're doing, okay? I'm an extremely introspective person at times. And I think that's a great thing in a lot of respects, but what I'll do often is I'll overanalyze situations, and that's often to my detriment. So instead of overanalyzing and try to figure them out on your own, if you're open and honest about it when it happens, then the other person will tell you what's going on, and you won't have to go and figure it out on your own. Having an open and honest conversation with people will get right to the point, and people will respect you for coming from honesty and coming from truth. And I'll tell you what, it's something that is definitely not very prevalent anymore. It's something that's going down. More and more people are hiding behind their phones and afraid to have uncomfortable conversations and afraid to really speak up how they feel. But the more you can do that, the more happiness you'll have in life, the more clear things will be to you, and the less time you'll waste trying to figure things out. And the fourth lesson that I learned last year, and I'm very happy with this one, is that you need haters, okay? This is a phrase I got from Grant Cardone, another guy who I watch on YouTube. And what he was saying is that you should expect disapproval and even some hate from other people, and you actually need that to be successful. If you really want to go after what you want in your life, you need to expect that some people are not going to agree with you and you're going to get some hate. So for example, these YouTube videos, I put them out, and this business that I do truly is because I sat and asked myself, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do? And this business is it. I like to share, all the experiences and things that I've gained over the last 10 years. And I love giving the information. And I love when someone comments and says, your video helped me a lot. Thank you for sharing this. That really means a lot to me. But no matter how genuine my intentions are, no matter how fat I used to be and how terrible I was, and no matter how much I want to help people, I still get a hater every now and then making a stupid comment. Oh, you're just a good-looking guy. You're probably always like this. What can I learn from you? Little do they know the 10 years of insane work, sometimes 7 nights a week. And I can go through my documents, and I went through one of my journals from one year, and it had 110 single-spaced handwritten notes just from 1 year of journaling from me going out, just tons of all the work that I put in. But still someone could say, oh, you're full of shit, or you're something like that. And it used to bother me, right? And that actually kept me from making videos and sharing stuff for a bit. But I've embraced it and said, it's okay. I'm going to get some hate. No matter who you are, you're going to encounter some disapproval. And I want you to expect that and totally be okay with that, all right? The cool quote that I like from Aristotle was, in order to avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And I'd go even further, saying that even if you do nothing, people are still going to hate on you for being lazy, right? So there's no way to avoid criticism. I'm not super religious. I'm not trying to push religion on you, but a cool thing I like to say when I talk about hatred and disapproval was that they killed Jesus, right? Jesus just tried to help people and share a good message and really inspire people and show lots of love. And ultimately, they killed him because they didn't understand what he was talking about. So you're going to get some disapproval, and don't let that deter you from what you want to do in your life. If anything, expect it and find that you getting a little bit of hate and a little bit of failure and some disapproval, interpret that as you actually doing a good thing by going for what you want and not being deterred by a few bad reactions. Don't let a few bad apples spoil the whole bunch. So I hope my lessons that I learned last year have inspired you and help you going forward this year. I want you to have a fantastic 2018. And what would be really cool is if you've learned some cool lessons last year or recently that you want to share with us that have changed your life. Definitely feel free to comment those below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the button below, and I'll have new videos to you every week. Let's have a killer 2018.